What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun Meehan, and joining me as always is Russian spy Ciara Lawler.
I cannot reveal where or what I'm doing. Something like that.
Oh, the perfect spy would hide the Russian accent, actually. That's quite clever.
You ever seen Scarlett Johansson in the movies? Not a near bit of Russian accent on her. Not a near bit.
Well, best actress of our generation, could play any role.
Exactly.
But Connor, hello. How is you? What hero or zero is our?
If you don't know, Shaun doesn't normally do the introductions. So, this is Hero or Zero, where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we just generally give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, I normally choose DC, and Shaun normally chooses a little company called Marvel. He's on their payroll, and he's always said all their movies are so good, especially Thor: The Dark World, you said.
I think it's not bad. I think there's definitely worse films in the world.
There's evidence of payroll. Okay, so last week I did the Black Hand, who has a major part of DC storylines, and he's kind of under the radar Green Lantern villain. He's pretty big. Shaun, who are you doing this week? It is your week.
Yes, I am doing quite an iconic comic character, actually, which I feel doesn't get the praise they deserve. Now, I'll give her real name first, and then we can see if you know her. I'm covering a character called Anna Marie LeBeau, Connor.
Oh, I know that name. LeBeau. Why do I know LeBeau?
Because it's Rogue.
Ah, yes, of course. Yes, I do apologise.
No problem at all. So, I'm just going to do a quick backstory on Rogue, go through powers and abilities, and of course the Marvel 1-7 rating system at the end. So, starting off, her parents, Owen and Priscilla, married early in their relationship and lived in a hippie commune in Mississippi.
Sorry, is her father named Bone?
Owen.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Bone and Priscilla, and I thought, that's a cool name.
Bone and Priscilla. Bone LeBeau.
He's Randy Savage from the first Spider-Man. Bonesaw.
That is a reference. Also the reason you would know LeBeau, it's actually her married name.
For a Gambit.
Remy LeBeau.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, they married early. They lived in Mississippi. They were hippies. She was also involved with her Aunt Carrie, who was her mother's sister, right? The commune that they lived with attempted to use Native American mysticism to reach another world, which resulted in Rogue's mother disappearing.
We're going early. This has changed early, I will say that.
Rogue has been around quite a while, so I have a lot of ground to cover.
Okay, when was her first year, sorry? I didn't hear that.
I didn't actually find out. Hang on.
Of course.
No, I'll get it now, Connor. Don't you worry.
So you just meant to do a bit of research for the show?
Yes,
even
I do.
An issue?
Connor, I can't stress how much ground I have to cover.
All I'm asking is where the ground starts. That's all I'm asking.
Below your feet. She appeared first in Avengers Annual number 10 in August of 1981.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now I have a bit of... now I know. That really helps me.
You have frame of reference there. So,
sorry, just really quickly, who was she created by?
I don't know. So after her mother's disappearance, she was taken into her aunt's care, who, in contrast to her mother, was very strict and authoritative, which led to Anna Marie becoming a rebellious child, prompting her to run away from home as a teenager, gaining her the nickname Rogue.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where that nickname came from.
Yeah, it's a really ham-fisted way of doing it.
Very ham-fisted.
A rogue.
I'm assuming they probably started with her in the comic books and then worked back. Like, how did she get this name?
Gave all of this after the fact. And this is a thing I think everyone knows about Rogue, but at some point she grew close to a boy named Cody Robbins. During their flirtation, Rogue impulsively kissed Cody, at which point her latent mutant... went great. Her mutant power to absorb the life energy and psyche of others with skin-to-skin contact emerged.
I've seen X-Men 1.
We've all seen X-Men 1. It's great.
First scene. No, actually, it's after. Second scene.
Second scene. Pretty early on, though. Cody was left in a coma from which he would not awaken. Rogue was traumatised by the experience and started to wear clothing that would conceal her body, eliminating the possibility of accidental skin contact.
So she knows, straight away that it's skin-on-skin contact, really?
She figures it out, yeah. Okay. It's kind of a bit of a trial and error thing. She's not able to control it, and so she started to just become really withdrawn and started missing actually having human contact, which is quite a fuck thing to imagine when you think of it. Not long after, Rogue was approached by Mystique, who basically adopted her, took her in as a daughter.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, because it's just like Mystique just took a shine to her and was like, oh, she's a good kid. She just deserves someone to look after her.
But is Mystique not bad? Well...
Yeah, she's bad, but she still will care about people and things.
Okay, like Nightcrawler. Or something of such that.
Yeah, Nightcrawler and Rogue consider themselves brother and sister.
I did not know that. Okay, that's interesting.
It's really nice. In time, now here's the thing, it is Mystique, so Mystique turned Rogue's loneliness, envy, bitterness and despair into anger, thus recruiting her into the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Makes sense. A few Magneto speeches later.
Yes, and that's all it takes sometimes to make her fight against superheroes such as the X-Men, Dazzler, and the Avengers, Connor.
All of them at once.
Sometimes, yes.
Sorry, how did the Dazzler get her own mention between the X-Men and the Avengers?
Because I think because Rogue and Dazzler have this on again, off again, hating each other thing. I think because they were both women introduced in the 80s.
Oh, so they have to dislike each other.
They have to dislike each other. They can't be friends.
Of course.
And so later, Rogue encountered the superhero Ms. Marvel, later to be known as Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Rogue and Miss Marvel fought, and through prolonged contact, during which Miss Marvel fought valiantly to remain conscious, Rogue absorbed her alien-based powers and memories. Because of her Kree blood, it was actually permanent. So Rogue permanently gained Miss Marvel's incredible strength, near invulnerability, the power of flight also.
What?
Yeah, so
That's mad.
The reason Rogue has more than just absorbing people's powers is because she absorbed Captain Marvel's powers.
Do you know, I always wondered that with the cartoon. I was like, why is she able to fly? Because unless she's draining somebody else. But then I suppose your kid brain is just well, she's a superhero, she can just fly.
All superheroes can fly.
Yeah,
but no, it's actually addressed.
So that means she's basically invulnerable. She's like a god.
Pretty much, yeah.
Holy shit.
She's ridiculously strong. And this is still early doors as well. It gets more wild.
And is she as strong as Miss Marvel? Just early on?
I think it's it's mostly as strong, function. She doesn't have the energy blasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, but she can just drain everybody else's life while punching your head off.
And do it 50 feet in the air if she wants.
Fucking hell. Okay.
So she began to suffer, however, from having Carol Danvers' memories in her head. Because it's not...
She sucks the memories as well.
Yeah, she gets the memories, the psyche, basically. She gets a part of that. Usually it doesn't last. It sticks around for a little bit and it leaves residuals. But with Captain Marvel, it just stayed there. She could never get rid of it. Desperate, she turned to Professor Charles Xavier. So she went up to the school for gifted mutants. She was attacked on sight because she was an enemy at that point. And Xavier, however, he loves all mutants, so he welcomed her in and said, look, I'll help you. I'll do my best.
Also, he can read her mind.
He can read her mind as well, yeah, and he can, shut down basically those Captain Marvel memories. While doing this, the X-Men threatened to leave if he allowed Rogue to stay.
Right, I suppose, because she's Magneto's friend, and she just nearly killed Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, and she's fought against basically every hero at this point, Dazzler included.
Okay. Dazzler included, but also forgotten.
And look, Professor X reminded the X-Men that, no, we're here to help. Give her a chance, basically. And so, not long after this, she hung around with the X-Men. She was like, okay, I'm going to stay with these guys. And then they travelled to Japan to attend the wedding of Wolverine. Wolverine was at first enraged to seeing Rogue joining the X-Men.
I feel like his natural state is enraged.
Well, but on his wedding day, Connor.
Yeah, he's even more enraged than usual, and he already is enraged.
He was, and she had to earn his trust by saving the life of his fiancée, while the X-Men fought a bunch of villains. It was a wedding of Wolverine thing, and you needed some drama at the time.
I mean, it's a comic book wedding. What's going to happen? They're going to be attacked.
Yeah, definitely. We've all seen Fantastic Four 2, Rise of Silver Surfer.
I mean, I watch it every day, every morning.
Over time, Rogue eventually earned the respect of all the X-Men and became a valued and trusted member of the team. Mystique once attempted to rescue Rogue from the X-Men, thinking that Professor X had forced her to leave the Brotherhood and brainwashed her. But Rogue told her that she had joined of her own free will.
See, she doesn't realise she was brainwashed in the first place. Now
it's
she's
classic
been allowed
brainwashing move.
Yeah, now she's been allowed to do what she wants to do.
So that's the end of the backstory for Rogue. I really wanted to get across she was a villain and then turned hero and is now full-time hero.
Right, okay.
Because her powers and abilities get a bit wild. So
I'm also interested in her and Gambit, but I'm assuming that's just mostly all canon that they're together.
Yeah. They're both New Orleans and stuff like that, and they're just
it's like Jean Grey,
each other.
Jean Grey Cyclops.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a lot of it, and it's
drama.
They're together and they're not together, and they're together and they're not together. Yeah. But they're always together, basically.
Yeah, it always comes back together in the end.
Exactly. And so her main power is power absorption. So she can absorb the powers, energies, memories, knowledge, talents, personality, and physical abilities of another human being, or some members of sentient alien races. She requires physical contact of her skin with the skin of the other person. She has also absorbed psionic abilities, so energy-based weaponry and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then basically she can also possess the powers of several superhuman persons at once.
Right, so she could have Cyclops' and Jean Grey's and Wolverine's powers at the same time. Right.
And the Captain Marvel powers that she just has all the time.
So if they're going into battle, would they not just all let her just take all of their powers and go in by herself?
They just put their hands in a circle and they're like, X-Men!
Like they Yu-Gi-Oh it. they Yu-Gi-Oh between all the friends, and then they just send her in to be an absolute war machine.
That's the thing, but you have to remember that by doing that, most of the time the person she touches is knocked out.
Yeah, really weak.
Yeah, you're kind of consolidating all of the X-Men into one person, and it's a very strong person at that point. But if they're defeated, you're gone. Okay,
makes sense.
The abilities and memories are absorbed for a time 60 times longer, 60 times longer than the period of time that Rogue was in physical contact with that person.
Okay, so for 1 second is a minute.
Yes, exactly. 1 minute would be 6 minutes, 60 minutes, an hour even.
Yeah.
So that's just, I like how that scales. I think that's interesting. And while most of her life, her use of this power was involuntary, Rogue has recently gained full control over it.
Right, so she can touch people.
Yeah, she can turn it on and off now. Basically, she figured it out.
I don't know if that makes the character more or less interesting. I think it's less interesting if she's able to control it.
It kind of... Because otherwise, what's stopping her from being the most powerful person?
She could just go around just doing it to everybody and not doing it to the people that she likes. But
exactly.
I like the idea that she just can't touch people, and then that's a whole other character motivation or a character trauma that you can write stories around. But, I mean, she's been around for that many years. They've probably written all the stories.
That's the thing. I like it more when she has to balance the use of the power of her. She the usual thing is she wears gloves and shit like that. It's just an interesting way that the character has to manage their life.
The big moment where she takes off the glove and everyone's like, "Are you sure?" Or she's like, "Are you sure?" And the other person's like, "Yeah, do it to me now, even though I'm going to get knocked out."
To the point, she used to wear ruby sunglasses in case she absorbed Cyclops' powers.
Oh, that's so cool.
It wouldn't just explode everywhere. It's things like that characters have to think about that I really like.
Yeah, that's a character trait that it's interesting. I think it's less interesting when she just is able to control that.
Yeah, and look, that's how it is at the minute. Usually, it's fucking
they'll just
random
rewrite
as shit. Exactly. The power is potentially lethal. Her flirtation, Cody Robbins, as we said, was in a comatose state for roughly a decade after her powers first manifested. He never fully awakened and finally passed on instead of remaining on life support.
Fuck, okay.
However, Rogue has never actually killed with her powers. The way it's said on the wiki, she only sent victims into a permanent vegetative state.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. Is it as bad? It's probably worse, right?
It is, but technically it's fine.
It's
fine episode.
We're back to the technically it's fine. I mean, you get into involved with Batman doesn't kill people, but he just breaks all their bones and just leaves them in a coma.
Beat them within an inch of their life.
Technically he doesn't kill, but he ruins that man's life.
Look, his conscience is clear, so is Rogue's, is how I read this.
Fair enough.
As she is absorbing the total psyche of a person, there is a risk of a personality overwhelming her and taking control of her body.
Forever or for a period of time?
For a period of time. Kind of until the effects of her mutant power wear off.
Now, I just thought of a story idea, almost immediately. So,
okay,
I'm sure it's been done 100 times, but she touches Magneto. He takes over her body. He has all of her powers and his powers. And his personality is strong enough to take over everybody.
I don't know for sure if that happened, but I nearly feel like it has because it's so
definitely
perfect.
It definitely has.
If it hasn't, what are they up to?
Yeah.
And even though she forgets the memories she has absorbed after the kind of power transfer, echoes of all the personalities of all the people she's ever absorbed do remain in her mind.
Ooh, that's a very edgy character thing.
Yeah, it's a very I have all the memories of all the villains and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And robots are mostly immune to her power. Depending on the amount of organic material left, she can sometimes affect cyborgs. She occasionally has been able to absorb Colossus's power. It depends on who's writing her. Sometimes in his metal form he can't be absorbed, but sometimes it can, and then you have Metal Rogue, which is really cool.
Jesus Christ.
And now initially she was unable to absorb the powers of a character called Wonder Man, who is made of living ionic energy. So he's not human anymore, basically.
Okay.
Much in the same way as, remember I said Ulysses' claw is made out of sound?
Yeah, I remember you saying that, yes.
And it made no sense then either.
No, it made no sense then. Still doesn't make any sense.
Wonder Man is that, but with ionic energy. So particles and shit like that.
We all understand what you're saying, Shaun. It's obvious. A man is made of ionic energy. I get it. Of
course.
Jesus, stop beating me over the head.
However, in recent months, she has been able to absorb him with no problem at all. And then there was a thing in Marvel called Strain 88. It was a pandemic that amplified mutant powers, basically. What it did to Rogue was it made the effects of her touch instantly permanent and all-consuming. So
wait, the other person is immediately just, like, dead?
Immediately comatose, and she just has the powers.
And she can't, like, wake them up. Like, she just has the powers forever.
She just has the powers forever. And it was fixed, and everything went back to normal.
Okay.
But for a while there, anytime she touched someone, they were fucked.
Whew, pandemics sound bad. Hope that doesn't happen.
And look, also, the way it works, for a while, Professor X used to help her build like mental barriers in her mind, that would basically stop her, like subdue her powers a bit. That's how it used to be. Now she's just kind of developed the ability to turn the powers on and off at will. By training it, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like you build up the barriers, but then if you're around for story long enough, like eventually you have to be like, she can control it herself. That's just the way it goes in comic books. But then eventually what'll happen is she'll go too powerful, and then they'll have a scene where Professor X is like, I'm going to put them back in. I'm going to control you again.
Yeah. It's very like, do you remember in X-Men 2? He plays psychic dampers on Jean Grey.
Yes.
And that ended well for everyone involved, especially James Marsden.
I'm pretty positive James survives that.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. Sure, he's at the end of Days of Future Past. And a new thing that Rogue does in recent comics is that she will ask consent for people to say, to like, for her to touch them, basically. So the victim can either resist the absorption of the powers and suffer, like it usually is, or instead submit to the absorption, and so the process becomes like really smooth, no consequences at all. They don't go into comas or anything like that, because you're not fighting it, I think, is the argument. She has done this when she was aiding the victims of a subway collapse. And she took all, like, kind of what you were saying, she took all of the people doing rescue, took all of their abilities, and just saved everyone herself. Because it was easier to send one person down than 40.
Right, okay. That's
but she
really
asked them, she was like, yeah, and she was like, look, if you can do this, just give me everything, and I'll do it. Because she asked and they were cool with it, then they were fine.
Fuck. Okay, I mean, like, she's basically a god.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, she has the usual stuff. Also, because she absorbed Wonder Man's powers, the tissues and bones of her entire body have now been augmented in strength, and she is now composed of organic matter that is permeated with ionic energy. So she's made of ions now. She has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, flight, functionally immortal.
Good stuff.
Because of the ionic energy that empowers her, she no longer ages and is immune to disease and infection.
I'm just going to say, by the way, I have no idea what ionic energy is. I'm just going with you.
That's absolutely fair there.
Because I feel like a lot of people listening are the same as me. I'm just letting you go. Ionic energy.
Ionic energy. So basically, okay, this is going to turn into a Wonder Man Hero or Zero. Basically, it's made up. It just turns you into energy. Baron Zemo blasted a dude with this who hated Tony Stark and was like, I'll give you the powers to defeat Tony Stark. So he turned him into ionic energy. Basically, it means he can kind of control every atom of his body. He can control it. So he can fly and has super strength. He doesn't need to eat. He can breathe underwater. He doesn't have to breathe. it's
made
comic
of energy.
book bullshit. He's made of energy. So is Rogue now.
But what I didn't mention there was you said that she's basically immortal, invulnerable to everything, that she cannot be poisoned. She's unstoppable, I could only assume.
Pretty much. She also, as I said, no longer requires food, water, or oxygen.
Right. So we couldn't even just choke her or anything. Like, she doesn't need any oxygen.
No, you can't choke her out. She's also she learned acrobatics from Gambit.
What is the point?
She can fly.
Also, Gambit must be like, any fight that occurs, just go get him, Rogue. I'll stand here.
I'll watch the car, honey.
Look, I've got your back. If they surround you, I'm coming in, right? But you have this under control. And
so, just very quickly then, onto Rogue's Marvel 1 to 7 rating system. It's kind of a tricky one. So base level, just Rogue on her own. Intelligence of 3, strength of 5, speed of 5, durability of 6, energy projection of 1, and fighting skills of 3.
But she's made of energy now.
She's made of energy, and also she can absorb anyone's powers.
So she's 7.
So she's 7s across the board, which is ludicrous.
Yeah, it just depends on her mood and who she's around.
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter really who she's fighting, because she can just take their powers and turn them into a coma.
I mean, how can you write a story about that?
Someone she can't touch, basically.
I suppose, yeah, he can't get near them.
Yeah, like, she'd have fierce trouble fighting Clarke from Cloak and Dagger, because he's non-corporeal.
It's like if Superman could suck other people's powers.
Pretty much, actually, yeah. Like, if Superman could, like, high-five Green Lantern and get all of Green Lantern's powers.
I think Rogue would beat Superman.
I definitely think so.
And I never say that, because I always think Superman's broken, that he would just beat everybody.
No, but what you need to ask is, could Superman beat Superman? And yes, he could.
But she wouldn't beat Green or Martian Manhunter, because he would just turn, completely make himself invisible, or turn his body so that she can't touch him.
That's very true. She would also probably come up in trouble against the Flash, because he can vibrate himself so quickly that things just pass through him, can't he?
Yeah, and there's no point you even going near Batman. Like, oh no, I'm a human. Oh no.
But look, she would get all of Batman's skills and knowledge.
Yes, of course. Now she can do flips while she does lasers.
So look, I feel I might have rushed that, but I was very nervous about just going into all of Rogue's stories and backstory that she's ever been in, because she pops up so often, especially with all the animated series stuff. Like, she's...
And I mean, if you want to learn more, I would recommend going to watch the 90s cartoon. It still holds up. There is an episode where she steals not steals, but she gets Captain Marvel's powers. And there's an episode dedicated. Is Captain Marvel in that series? Yeah, for to give Rogue her powers, yeah. That's fucking mad. That series, like, they just had free reign. They did whatever they wanted. Like, it was 1993, Batman the animated series was going, Spider-Man was going, fuck it, let's do this. Let's just do whoever we want. We have free reign with all Marvel characters. That was the closest we had to the MCU back in the day. Yeah, and because they did the Phoenix story and everything. Yeah. Fuck, we should watch that for the Patreon at some point. Let's watch it. I want to see it again. Just as friends. And then I'll watch Young Justice. You never will. You never will. Never have, never will. But yeah, that's all I have on Rogue. Ridiculously powerful character who people think is just the girl who touches people and kills them. Yeah, I mean, that's a level that I didn't realise that she was at. I just thought she had the power to take people's abilities and then use them, but she has permanently Captain Marvel's powers, so I'm going to assume that, I mean, she can also then... She must be better than Captain Marvel. Like, she has Captain Marvel's powers and they can take your powers too. Yeah, she could be the entire Fantastic Four in one person if she wanted to. But you wouldn't want to be Reed Richards. No, noted bastard Reed Richards. Oh, Ben Grimm, I'm having a great time. Jesus, Reed. He's coming through his memories.
Oh, God, he's such a miserable man.
Do you want me to take us out, Shaun?
Yes, please, Connor.
So, if you liked what you heard, you can give us a like and review on any podcast platform that you are currently listening to this on. It would really help us out just in terms of the algorithm and stuff. We do this every single week where we choose one comic book character and we just go through them, DC and Marvel. So, if you don't like this character or you don't like last week's character, there's definitely a character somewhere in our catalogue that you're like interested in, either DC or Marvel, or you want to learn more about. The Orb, perhaps. Tim Drake, episode 3. It's my fave. We peaked.
Is it really?
We peaked early.
We peaked at 3. Peaked at 3, Jesus.
The mics are a lot different though. The
I
quality
would say
level. Yeah, you can do that, or you can head on over to any of our social media platforms. So we're Twitter at Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook, Heroes for Hire Podcast. Instagram, Heroes for Hire Podcast. We also have a Facebook discussion group called Detective Divilment's Discussion Group if you want to have a chat with all the other listeners. And we also have a Patreon if you want to support the show that way. You get a shout out, you get all this extra content up there, you get mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff up there. We recently did a review of The Amazing Spider-Man, and it is a movie. And
it's a movie that came out.
It's a movie that came out and we watched it. And so that's up there. We've got reviews of all the other Spider-Man, actually. I think the only one we're missing is Spider-Man 1.
The Raimi Spider-Man one, yeah.
Yeah, because we haven't done the Amazing... no, we did Far From Home on the show. On a free
we did, yeah.
Lazarus Pit. So that's actually... If you want to listen to our Far From Home review, it's one of the movie Mondays. I can't remember which week.
Just search it. It'll be... Yeah. Just search Spider-Man. Well, that's a tough search.
Just search Spider-Man into Google and hope.
Go to page 2, maybe.
We'll say page 2. Our SEO will say 2. Okay. Yeah. And most importantly, you can tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
So I have been Connor Lawler.
I have been Shaun Neal.
And we shall see you next weekend.
Bye.
Bye.